I don't have a singing voice right now. Couldn't even sing in the car properly. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Look how pretty my hair is right now. Probably gonna go get a haircut after this. Live from the upper left corner almost of the USA. It's Dead Dodge Garage Live. The show where we hang out and talk about stuff. 70 of you out there, thanks for joining. Hit the like button. You might notice we're back in my wife's office with the creepy cat, but only because, unlike you guys over in the Midwest, you know, who have like the temperatures that start with the negative. It's cold here, but cold means like 25, 30 degrees. So it's freezing in my office. And I apologize, but I'm going to be hacking up a lung. Probably not going to feel like talking for 2 hours. I've been sick for weeks, like mostly fine. And most of the day I'm perfectly fine. But pretty much like clockwork in the evenings, especially when I'm trying to go to bed, I just start coughing. It's awesome. That's going to get old fast. Howdy, Glenn. My sister was early, which is weird. Old Stuff Rules, who's on a snow-covered mountain in cold, windy Tennessee. How's it going? Lovejoy wishes he had a shop, and he's weeping in negative 26. Yeah, it was kind of cold here, but I just put on an extra layer and ran the fire. That's what that's called. Wood stove out in the shop. And did something, but only if I stand in front of it. Donnie stopped in to check in and out and said, congratulations on almost 25,000 subscribers. Yeah, it's happening. We are damn close. Thanks, Donnie. Lauren Cahoon, Belle James, Oklahoma, in the house. How's it going? Oh, yeah, Rooster gets his job back next week. Rooster is going to be on next week. And special announcement, in 2 weeks, I'm going to do a co-live with just Mopar Joe, which I am very much looking forward to. I believe we have the technology to stream that to both of our channels at once, which is pretty neat. So, yeah, that'll be in 2 weeks on the 28th. But next week, we'll have Rooster on. We'll talk about his drag truck project, which I'm supposed to fly out and drive or something. And if you guys haven't, please slap or tickle the like button or something like that. Howdy, old Plymouth Garage. How's it going? Ladies and gentlemen, the master of Mopari, the deadliest catch of Dodge. Thanks, Mr. PF Flyer, and welcome. Howdy, Tony Sears, Sub-Zero, South Dakota. Nope, good on that. Glenn Uromi is in the currently freezing frozen tundra in Colorado. Thanks for being here. Howdy, Avon. What is shaking? Super Satellite Garage with the intro there. Don't talk to me about cold. It's minus 35 wind chill. Nope. Good on that. See stories here as well. -4 and snowing in Oklahoma. McLovin Garage, what is up? Good evening. The frozen tundra of Pacific Northwest Oregon. Yeah, the ground here is going crunch. That's not normal. That shouldn't happen. Rainbow Man is here and says, I just bought the worst Chrysler of all time, y'all. LHS? Infamous Mr. Four-Speed, the man, the legend. It's not me. Mike Brunello, how's it going? Dan Tupper, what is up? There's going to be a lot of that. Oh, nice. Mostly Mopars checking in from Georgia and getting over COVID again. Nice. Well, that is not what I have. Although some people in my universe did have it. I don't know what I have, but it sucks. I can say I'm pretty much fine, but just the cough. This comes and goes. It's not ideal. 2 feet of snow at Lovejoy's place in the last week. 50-mile-an-hour wind gust, -30 wind chill, and just got my plumbing thawed back out. It's going terrific. Yes, I am getting I'm getting scruffy again, but I'm gonna trim it. I'm gonna cut off all my hair and trim the beard. I'm not shaving again. But yeah, it's there's a lot of it there all of a sudden. Howdy, Ross. How's it going? Howdy, Stacy. Oh, yeah. Frozen Alberta. Coldest place on the planet Saturday night. Yeah. Avon says, yeah, the upper left coast of the part that matters. Upper left part of the coast that matters? Whatever. My mom's been coughing too and sneezing. Scared the cat. Allegedly, this is a car show. We'll probably talk about cars at some point. Mostly we're just talking about how cold it is everywhere, which is great. The 9 says, you'll be fine. Yeah, I know. 4Speed 440 says, yo, what up? New York in the house, 22 degrees. Brad Baker, I love the blackberry pie cider. This might just be my favorite. I keep going back to it. There's some other good ones. Oh, I don't know. Those are kind of cool in a way. The 1989 Chrysler TC by Maserati. Yeah, that's something. Oh, Brad Baker sent me $10. Just discovered your channel about 3 weeks ago, and I'm in Mopar love. Turn my buddy Tony on to you. He has a 70 Sweet Ram Charger he might have you work on. Yeah, he emailed me. Cool. I'll have to look for a reply from him. Keep up the great videos, Jamie. Thank you very much, Brad. Appreciate that. What are you standing next to? Is that a turbine? That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. I will most likely use your $10 to buy more blackberry cider. Although I might change flavors. Got to mix it up, you know. Oh, Rocky Tom's having a great time. Start of the weekend, Great Wolf Lodge water park with kids. End of weekend, lost power at home. It's 20 out, so I'm over at my parents' where I have heat and internet. Nice, yeah, because the lights were out there beginning of the week too, so everything's going awesome, basically. YT Viewer 127 is here and says finally warmed up in Iowa City. -13. Oh, wow. Darker's over on the other side of the state, and it's been negative there. God, I don't envy any of you guys. David Koros, good evening. How's it going? All right, so will DeSoto Hemi heads fit a 318 LA? Great question. The short answer is no. The long answer is maybe. And I intend to answer that question. I know there are water port differences. They have the same, as far as I know, the DeSoto Hemi and the A, then LA engine have the same bore centers, the same head bolt pattern. So in theory, it should bolt on there. There are a handful of reasons why it won't just work. Water ports are the big one. And I don't know on the deck height. I'm not totally sure which deck height the A engine ended up being based on, There were short deck and tall deck DeSotos, much like there were short deck and tall deck Dodges and Chryslers. I think it's possible to bolt the heads on. I know there will be port mismatch problems to correct, probably with plates, welding, grinding, who knows what. Excuse me. The Hemi head, because it's so humongous, uses an oil drain back hole, which is not present in the LA and A engine. The Poly also uses an oil drain back hole. And I know that because I had to clear them out on a Poly engine I had once because it was just plugged solid with crap. So there's oil drain back, water port differences. Beyond that, I don't know what else. And again, I don't know on the deck height. I don't know if there's an intake that will just fit, or if it'll require machining, or if we'll just have to run individual throttle bodies, or if we'll have to make sheet metal intake. There are tons and tons of options. But yeah, what I am hoping to do is find a set of DeSoto heads so I can mock them up on a block and see what's what. A set of DeSoto heads and an intake. And I might need early ones. I might need late ones. I don't know. The deck height might not match either of them. I do not know that yet. I was looking at a big chart of all the specs recently, but I haven't made enough notes yet. But I think it can be done. Now, it's going to be a lot of work, and the results probably won't be worth it. But I want to find out. So, yeah, that is my genius plan. Rocket Tom says, seems like you all like Jamie filming crusty early A-bodies. I keep bringing home like rescue dogs. Yeah, they seem to do pretty well. Almost as well as blown up Hemis. Avon says it's time to start brainstorming for what you're going to do with where you're going to put your 100K subscriber button. Yeah, where do I hang it? I don't know. Probably in my office. It's not quite that time yet. I've got a while to think about it. I keep hitting the lever on this seat, and then I get shorter. It's awesome. This desk does magic. It's incredible. Anyway, YT Viewer says just Mopar Joe is great. Yes, he's awesome. Guy's brilliant. Really like him. Really looking forward to getting to chat with him. Oh, Dan Telper sent along a DeSoto Hemi Parts ad. I may have already seen that. Yeah. I think there are some parts available in a couple ads locally. I realized as far as the Dodge Hemi project goes, I know where a Poly engine is. It's sitting in a 55 Plymouth, which I was planning to take and turn into a straight axle gasser car. So maybe we just solve all our problems at once. But I think that one's a short deck engine because it's a 55. And I've got tall deck heads, so that doesn't even work, really. Anywho, howdy, Mike Noodle. Thanks for joining. David Bissett says, rains a lot where you are, seems like. Yes, indeed. Enjoy your little Hemi teardown. Enjoy your show. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Yeah, the Hemi teardown was pretty fun for me. Sounds like the people want to see more teardowns. So if I have interesting ones, especially with like failure involved, I'll make sure to document them moving forward. All Classics Restoration dropped in, said, what up, Jamie and DDG gang? Hope everybody is staying warm and dry. I'm all right. It's literally freezing in my office downstairs right now, so that's why I'm up here with the creepy cat. But yeah, otherwise, it's much colder like where everyone else is than where I am, so that's the good news. Oh, Todd's Dog's Garage. I was just talking to him. How's it going, Todd? Hi, Jamie. When are you going to address more of the 66 Charger? As they come. I did that video on the 67 recently, which did very, very well. That ended up being my second most viewed video of all time by a lot. So apparently there's quite an appetite for those cars. I film what I have. So like I did the RT versus non-RT Charger video last week. Well, that's because we had an RT and a non-RT Charger to compare. Excuse me. I just did a video on a 63 Valiant because we got a 63 Valiant, So I don't go looking for projects. I just film what is available, what I have, what shows up as if by magic. I do hope to do more early Charger stuff. I'd like to do an update video on my 66, which I sold to my friend David. So, yeah, if I get a chance, if I'm at his house anytime in the near future, I will plan to do that. But yeah, I love those cars. I know you're a bit of a fan as well. If you guys don't know Todd, Todd's Dodge Garage, he does videos specifically about funky stuff on those cars. I'm sure he's doing other stuff as well these days. In fact, I saw he's working on like a CUDA or something, which seems very uncharacteristic. But yeah, he also runs Todd's Restorations. He specializes in rebuilding those clusters and stuff. So if you've got one of those cars, you probably want to make nice with Todd. David Corliss wants to know if I've seen the video on YouTube with a 72 Coronet slant 6.3 on the tree. That was Obsolete Automotive. I've been following him on Instagram forever and ever. Neat car. I haven't watched his video on it yet. No. Mark 63366 says Iowa's cold as hell as well. Yeah, sounds about right. Nice. Stage 0 Jason dropped in and said, hello, 3 days of shoveling and then a day dealing with all the stuff that craps out in the negative temps. The coolant started freezing in my Demon in the shop. It wasn't frozen, but it was slushy. So I put a heater under the hood, and that seems to have helped. Wow. Tom just linked me. I bet that was a U-Haul service truck. It's an international ramp truck with service boxes in it. Huh. It's kind of cool. I bet good money that was U-Haul. Anyway, it's got an IDI in it. That's not what I want. For $600, I'd take it. Anywho, good times. Happy Sunday, Devil Garage. It's not good. Elosa says it's negative 28 with the wind chill here in Chicago. Gave up. Working in the garage, the heater just couldn't keep up. That sounds miserable. Wow. Oh, Stage 0 Jason is doing Hot Rod Power Tour. Got long haul tickets. Nice. Plan A is the Black Little Red. Plan B is the 31,000 mile Aspen. I like both of those plans. McLovin Garage wants to know, any love on the Galaxy after your video? Find it a new caretaker? Tons and tons of people commented and said they wanted to buy it. Not one person went through the trouble to go find my email and actually contact me. So, no, it's still here. There was a guy that emailed Tom. I need to call that guy. I totally spaced on it because I'm a space cadet. But no, it's still here. It's $2,500. Like, someone needs to buy it. It needs to not be here anymore. Wow. The Chrysler TC by Maserati. I didn't know that. They were $35,000 in 1989 compared to a fully loaded LeBaron for $13,000. Wow. That's ridiculous. Good evening, Joel Shooter. How's it going? Oh, fun. Glenn Uromi wants to know. Question. The 04 Rumblebee I just bought is having steering issues in the sub-zero weather. Is there anything I can do or just wait for the weather to warm up? I don't know. I don't know at all. I don't deal with sub-zero temperatures. I can't tell you. Yeah, I have no idea. Set it on fire, maybe. I think it could be a pump problem, but I don't know. My Jeep, some days when I start it up, it has no power steering, but it's just because the belt is skipping. Is your belt skipping or slipping? Rev the engine, see if it steers after that. And that's what I've been doing, and it works every time. Howdy, Jerome Hawkins from Bellevue, Washington. Oh, that's not very far away. Oh, nice. Cool. That turbine. Abandoned power plant on the White River in Oregon. Nice. That's awesome. Oh, okay. I did see Mrs. Stuffer. Dan was tardy, but Mary tried signing in. Nice. Very cool. Rooster says the Hemi head oil ports do not line up. Well, that also is a problem we can solve with modern technology. We can run an external feed line. If we're going to run an external drain line, why not? There are a lot of options. Or we could even just tap a line down in the valley and run it up through an opening. There really aren't openings on those heads. Whatever. It's clearly not going to be just a bolt-on solution. I'm well aware of that, but I think it could be made to work. Rox 1989 is checking in from the icebox of Colorado. Well, welcome and thanks for being here. Oh, Stacy got a Volare wagon, which is awesome. Getting a list together for the station wagon rescue. Brake stuff, standard tune-up stuff, fuel line, carb kit, etc. Anything you could add to the list that I may have overlooked? Anything, rubber, belts, a battery. I'm sure that's on your list anyway. Sending unit might be a good idea. Doesn't it have tank problems? I don't remember. We were talking about it the other day, but yeah. Spitfire Mike says, I wondered what happened last Sunday to you. I had the C. Oh, the big C twice. First time tried to kill me. Second time walking the park. Nice. I've somehow, to my knowledge, I've never had it. My daughter's had it. A lot of people around me have had it. And many times over the last several years, my wife and I were like, well, this is it. Never had it. Always tested negative. So I don't know what the deal is, but been lucky so far. I did make a community post. I always make a community post, well, except for once when I'm going to go live. And when I'm not going to make it live, I make a community post as well. So if you don't see me on, you can go to my, it might pop up in your feed if you're subscribed, but you can always go over to my channel, click on the community tab, and there will be an announcement there if I'm not going to be live. But yeah, apologies. We were up getting that little Hemi engine and some other parts, and we didn't leave Bellingham until like 4 p.m. and that's a 4-hour drive. So yeah, my apologies. Joe Filardi sent me $20 with no comment. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate that. I promise to only spend it on more cider. Mark Norman is here and says, hey, everyone. Loving the latest videos, Jamie. Thank you very much, Mark. Shame the little Hemi had such a tough and neglected existence. Yeah, that thing has seen some times for sure. And if I can save it, I will. There are a lot of people saying, they seem concerned in the comments as if I'm going to scrap it or something, which that will never happen. The crank, I don't think is usable. It's already 2020 and it's rough. But I did have another genius idea that could potentially save that. So yeah, there are different possibilities. But yeah, I'm hoping I can build some sort of Hemi out of that. It may take an entire poly engine donor to do. So we'll see. Orin Cahoon wants to know, 430,000 over. Would a set of closed chamber 440 heads, I believe casting number 526, help? Okay, so 440, I don't think, did 440 ever have closed chambers? I don't think so. Maybe early ones did. I don't think so. I think you're thinking of the 516. If those were on 440s, I'm not aware of that. But they were on all the other B&RB engines. At least I think they were on 413s. They were definitely on 361s and 383s. I've seen tons and tons of them. I have a set out in the lean-to right now. It's 516. They're closed chamber. So they do help you raise compression. The thing is, I think the valves are smaller and the ports are more restrictive. Like, it's well known that they don't really have all that much power potential. It will help with compression if that's all you need. But the 516s, they just don't have all the potential that other heads do. But yeah, all the other good ones are open chambers. So there you go. I don't think I'd bother with that. There are probably other things you could do to bring the compression up if you're really worried about it. I mean, even with the closed chamber heads, if your piston's that far down the hole, that's a problem. Tim Jefferson says, hello from Des Moines, currently -12 actual. Nope, don't want that. Taz Dodge Garage wants to know. Oh, nice. Jody Tollefson says 916 heads were closed chamber. 916. I swear, 516 is the one I'm familiar with. And then 915, that's the good one. Maybe that's the 67 head. Another one you're only. Oh, hey, Just Mopar Joe dropped in the chat. Howdy, Joe. I did announce a few minutes ago. Joe is going to be streaming with me in a couple weeks. Very much looking forward to that. It's going to be cool. Todd wants to know your thoughts on Uncle Tony's turning the pistons around on the block to change the offset of wrist pin. I saw a dyno test done where they did that, and it made no difference. As you may know this, maybe not, that most of the average viewers do. I'm a huge Uncle Tony fan. I take a lot of his advice. I've learned a lot from him. Really like him. He's very, very knowledgeable. He's been doing this for a long time. But I don't know that it's really worth doing. I've done it a couple times myself for science. Whether it really made a big improvement or not, I don't know. But according to the dyno, it's not worth the trouble. I mean, if they're already out, you can put them back in backwards. Why not? BCC Photech is back with us. It says, hey, Jamie, PT Jim, back again. Howdy, Jim. I almost dragged home a frame for that last weekend. I thought better of it. I might have to go back up there for it. It's perfect. It's perfect. Anyway, more on that later. Don't have a car yet. Tulsa wants to know, hey, Jamie, what would I need to 4-speed swap a 70B body? Okay, pedals are the big one. And that... Brewers. I bought mine from Brewers. I 4-speed swapped that charger, which apparently will work out for video. 66 is ready for a close-up. Nice. I 4-speed swapped that. I did a video series called the 3-pedal solution. And in that series, I show the whole process. I show all the parts you need. Now, in that series, I was doing it behind a Magnum small block. So I had to do some special stuff for the flywheel, but the rest of it is all the same. But basically, pedals are the big one and the expensive part. You need a Z-bar. You need the other pieces of the clutch linkage. That's a down rod from the pedals down to the Z-bar, and then the rod from the Z-bar to the clutch fork. You need a clutch fork. You need a transmission and a bell housing, obviously. You need the pivots that the Z-bar mounts on. You need a shifter hump for the floor. You need a shifter and shift rods to attach to your transmission. And that's most of it. Yeah, that's most of it. But again, I do have a video series on that. So if you have more questions, you want to know more details, go check that out. I show basically every step of putting it in there. So, yeah. Rooster says to tell the crew the fate of the broken rod from the Hemi. 70 Hemi charger shifter. Yes, I'm going to mail the broken rod and wrist pin over to Rooster. Literally freezing. Yes, it is literally. Well, if it's freezing outside and that room's not insulated, yes, I'm pretty sure it's literally freezing. Evening, Paul Steinberg and Chris Diesner. Thanks for joining. Yeah. 136 of you out there. If you have not hit like on the stream, please do that. Yeah. Oh, Mopar Joe says on flipping the piston, says best case scenario, you can wear the skirts on the opposite side of the piston. Yeah, that's a thought. That is a thought. Jody Tollefson said the 452s breathe better and had hardened valve seats. Yes, I think the 452s are a great head. Again, they are open chamber. But yeah, they have good ports. As I understand, they're very, very similar to the 906. They have all kinds of power potential. Most of the performance big blocks I have messed with were 452s. The 73 Charger engine I'm putting together right now, 452s. So yeah, they're good. I've got more sitting in reserves. I'm going to build a solid lifter. It's a 528 lift. Don't remember the duration. I never do. Purple shaft, 440. It's a 1970 440. Stock cranks, stock rods, but all like race built stuff in the 80s. It's kind of cool. And that has well worked over 452 heads. And yeah, just Mopar Joe said, yeah, 915. That is the good closed chamber. So maybe those were on 440s. 915. That must be a 67 only head, right? I think that head's the 67 only. But I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. I know the 915 is kind of the ultimate. That's what people want. It breathes better than the earlier one. The earlier one, I'm pretty sure, is the 516. And that's what was on all kinds of big blocks, 361s, 383s, 2-barrel, 4-barrel, didn't matter. In the, let's say, mid-60s. I've seen bunches and bunches of sets of those. I've got one in the shed right now. And a set of 452s. Oh, wait. Stacy says Cornet wagon. Well, now I'm really confused. Is it a 75 Cornet wagon? I don't remember things. Good times. Oh, yeah. Rox1989 says our 71 Charger RT and our 66 Barracuda Formula S are waiting for some hot weather to come out of the garage. Nice. Those are cool cars. Very good. Oh, yeah. That AMC guy is happy the company I drive for invested in studded tires this year. Nice. Oh, Rocky Tom says, totally U-Haul would go nice on the back of a 90 cabin chassis, just saying. Very true. Very true. But I'd rather build what I want. And that ramp is super high. I'm pretty sure they put trailers on that. I don't know if they ever put trucks on that. Good times. Oh, yeah. Y'all hit that thumbs up now. Make sure you do that because it does stuff. And again, if you didn't hear me the first 2 times, I'm going to be doing a joint live with Just Mopar Joe in a couple weeks. I'm really looking forward to it. If you guys have not watched Just Mopar Joe or subscribed to him yet, you should do that. Super knowledgeable, great drag racer, has like decent reaction times, which is something you don't normally see on my channel, and great engine builder. So check him out. Hit the subscribe button. Lovejoy has so many interesting ideas to try and no one place to do them. Probably for the best. I don't think the world is ready for the air compressor supercharged 5.0. I think you're going to need several air compressors for that to work. Nice. 4Speed 440 says, I hope you go to Chrysler's at Carlisle this year. Best Mopar show in the country. Yeah, it's an awesome one. I'd like to, and it's certainly possible. But I'm not promising to anything. Oh, nice. That AMC guy's been looking for an SX4 and found one in Yakima. Gonna go look at it when the weather gets a little warmer. Nice. Sounds like a party. Kevin L says, I have a 72 D200 with a 360. It's worn out. Magnum swap or 440? Having trouble choosing. Don't think the fuel mileage would be too different. I disagree there. Guarantee the Magnum gets better fuel mileage. Guarantee. Maybe not amazing. And it kind of depends on what you bolt on top of it. But yeah, I would do the Magnum. For one thing, it's easy. Really, really easy. It's lighter. Although you're a 3/4 ton truck. It's not like that's super important. You know, 440 is great and all, but I like the Magnum. I think it's a good move. So yeah. Nice. Oh, Functional Histories dropped in and said, hey, Jamie, guess what will be at our house on Tuesday, finally? Probably a little tiny demon. Also, glad to see you, brother. Hope you're well. Listening as I work on a certain drag truck, F100. Nice. Very cool. Oh, yeah. Missing the live last week. Last week was Tom's fault. Sorry, everybody. Hashtag chief enabler. Yeah, someone said you got to come up to the spot. You got to come up here and buy more stuff. You got to get your priorities in order. And I literally went, fine, I'll show you, and got a hotel. And yeah, anyway, good times. Pretty cool. I did bring home a bunch of small block rebuild parts as well, which I need. D150 wants to know, do you know a source for sway bars on mid-70s Dodge trucks? I don't. I don't know if there are any aftermarket ones available. Yeah, Beltec has them actually. Dodge pickup front end sway bar. Napa carries it. But I should have known Beltec because they always they have the goods on the trucks. This shows one for 77 to 93. It also says it's 2 and 4-wheel drive, which I don't know what to think of that. But yeah, anyway, it looks like they're available. No guarantees if that is right. Apparently, they changed the design at some point. That says 72 to 86. I don't know. No idea. Looks rightish to me, but you'll want to do some reading on that. As far as I know, those frames are essentially the same for decades. So yeah. Tim Jefferson says on that truck, go for the 440 Magnum and have both. Well, it's not quite the same thing. Yeah, 67 head with casting number 915 was closed chamber. Yes, that is correct. Yes. I was talking about the 516, which is the earlier head. 67 is the super good 915. That's what everybody wants. And then the 906 is the muscle air head, but they are open chamber. Flicker the Skinny Kid dropped in and said, hey, Jamie, nice to see you. Balmy 10 degrees here in north central Pennsylvania. Nope. I enjoyed the Stewed episodes. Me too. Really enjoyed seeing it leave too. Bunch of noise happening out there. Oh yeah, hit the like button. It's a free way to help the channel. So is commenting on my videos. Thanks to everybody that does that. Charlie Hrobsky says, Minnesota? Are you in Oregon? No, I'm in Washington. Close. Howdy, Kelly Smith. Oh, nice balmy minus 30 there. Blockaders paradise. Jody Tollefson would love to see the A-body early Hemi swap. Me too. The first time I saw one done, it was a 392, and I was amazed. Didn't even know that was possible. Yeah. I wanted DeSoto for science. Working on that. But yeah, we'll fix the Dodge engine. I have some different ideas. An A-body would be really cool. Pauschis says, good evening from Ontario, Canada. It's freezing here too. Yeah. I think it's freezing everywhere. Yeah, 915 head is 67 only. Yep. That's right. Yeah, Kevin L is leaning towards the Magnum V8 5.9 or 2, I guess. Big block 4-speed truck bell housings are rare. Allegedly, yeah. Chris Greenhill's Garage says, greeting from the frozen wasteland of South Texas. None of that sounded right, but it's true. It's 16 degrees. Ugh. Jody Tollefson says 72 to 74 RB and B block had different heads. I wouldn't know. I'm not an expert, so I'll take your word on that. Cave Dave says the 516s can be ported and big valves installed. Of course, I know they can be ported to a certain degree. I don't know how far they go. I just know from the reading I've done that they're not as ideal for the performance. But yeah, you do get the closed chamber, so that's kind of nice. Super Satellite Garage wants to know if there are any decommissioned mail trucks wanting a small block Mopar swap. So far, no. But we'll see. Oh, Just Mopar Joe says 915, 67 only apparently were available with 2 different valve sizes. But yeah, they're non-hardened seats. I don't know, but have you ever had problems with valve seats in any Mopar V8 heads? I never have. I've had sinking valves in slant 6s, but even in the late 70s that should have hardened seats. I've never had it in any V8 Mopar heads. I've had burned valves, seat, but not like sunken. And that's supposed to be the classic, non-hardened seat problem. It's never been a problem for me. But there's always tomorrow. Old Plymouth Garage recently picked up a 72 Duster for $1,500, excuse me, that I called the Plymouth Rustler. Plans to have it roadworthy for Power Tour. Wish me luck. Good luck. You can do it. Nice. Ross is having a 72 W200 four-wheel drive Power Wagon swap from a 360 to 440. Nice. Do the Magnum. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Jody Tollefson says, love the work you're doing on Dead Dodge Garage. Thank you. Appreciate that. And John Stein, I did. Yeah. Oh, is in Southern Oregon. Wow. Might get to 30. Where was I? I got lost. Oh, here we go. 710 cap. Settle the debate. Is there such a thing as a factory 318 port-sized intake manifold, 4-barrel intake manifold is what he meant. Or did Chrysler just put 360 4-barrel intakes on those police engines? It's the 4-barrel intake, and I believe they use 360 heads as well. And I'm not sure how they reconciled the compression there. Anyway, yeah, it's apparently it's a whole 360 top end. That's my understanding. Good times. Rooster says Joe is correct, but you can't put 915 heads on any old 440 because 67 used different pistons for valve clearance. Interesting. I'm sure there are aftermarket valves that solve for that. Or aftermarket pistons, excuse me, that solve for that. Functional histories just happened to look up at the screen when your head was moved to the side. The cat is creepy. Yeah, that's why we call it the creepy cat. Stay centered. The cat's not even centered. Jody Tollefson says it's -9 in Wisconsin. Nope. Don't want that. Howdy, John Argent. How's it going? Okay, Dan says there is a very late quadrajet iron dual plane and 66 up 273 iron single planes. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that because they did have 273 four barrels and it would have to be small port. So yeah, there's that one. Very late quadrajet dual plane. So I had a 318 truck with a quadrajet on it, but I don't remember. I got nothing. I don't know if it was a 360 manifold or not, but it was definitely on a 318. Brewster says if you try to put them on with flat top pistons, you can't turn the engine over. Something tells me that depends on the amount of lift and cam timing, but I mean, you're going to run into that problem in a lot of cases, and that's why you have to test for valve clearance. But yeah, that makes perfect sense. Klapausch just says, I have no idea how to say my name either. It's a cheat code from The Sims. That makes sense because you hear The Sims talking, but it's not actually words. Bell James says problem with cold weather steering might be condensation. Again, I don't know anything about that. I know water doesn't compress. AMC guy thought the same thing I thought they got the 360 heads and 360 intake. And I think that is correct for the police engine. But Dan says there was a small port quadrajet intake. So I'll defer to Dan on that one. Oh, yep. And Dan says chassis number 432-38522, cast November of 88. I'll take November of 88. Wow, it's really late. Yeah, I thought 318s would be TBI by then. Very interesting. Anywho, yeah, so apparently they do exist. Oh, and AMC guy did the same swap to the 318 in my Valiant many years ago. Nice. Mark Norman says, yes, definitely, yes. Jamie, I noticed you're sliding sideways in a car laugh sounds a bit like Scooby-Doo or Shaggy even. Yes, I noticed that recently myself, listening back to it. Visually, you could play either character at the moment. Like Scoob. What are we doing, man? Good times. There are pistons specific for 915 heads. I have KBs in the 800 horsepower 440. My heads are ported and flow benched. Expensive heads. Yes, I'm sure. Spitfire Mike says, yep, 318 Cup car engines I worked on had 360 four-barrel intake as well as heads. And a windage tray, yes. That is one of the special features of my Cop motor, the A58. Is that what that is? I don't remember. I think it's A58. Damn it. I can't remember now. That's probably wrong. Dang it. High performance 360 police engine. Give me the engine code. E58. Thank you. Yeah. They are... just realized I have two StreamYard tabs for some reason. Yeah, the E58 is... It's a high endurance 360 more than a high performance. Or so said all the commenters on the video about my Chrysler 300. But yeah, they have a windage tray, which is cool, and they have a double roller timing chain. 4-barrel thermoquad carburetor and magic intake, of course. And that's about it. They don't make a ton of horsepower. But yeah, they're very similar to what you're talking about. Because later they had the police 318 instead of that 360 for some reason. Super Satellite Garage wants to know, is an early 70s B-body K-frame upgrade needed going from 318 to, say, a 440? No. If that's the car we're talking about, no. Through 72, it's the same K-frame. Essentially the same, things are not identical, but as far as mounting the engine, it's all V8, excepting Hemi, 1966 to 1972. Now, that changes in 73. But through 1972 in the B body, V8 is V8. So you can mount a 440 with the correct factory brackets right onto a 318K frame, no problem. In 73, that changes. So for 73 and up B body, you need the spool conversion mounts that Schumacher sells. I'm actually doing that in a 73 Charger right now. I didn't know because I only just opened the box. You have to re-drill and trim the small block K-frame to fit the big block, just like you have to the slant 6 K-frame in an A body to fit a small block. Didn't know that. Yeah, so for the Schumacher kit, you have to make some modifications. But that's 73 and up. 72 and down, so at least 66, 72. Again, they're the same K-frame, small block, big block, doesn't matter. There are different versions, and then there's a Hemi K-frame, and that's different. And one significant different version is the 6-pack one, which has the extra skid plate on the bottom. So you bottom out on that instead of the deeper oil pan. But otherwise, doesn't matter. You should be good to go. Dan Tupper had 2 of those intakes, both off Ram Chargers. Interesting. Yeah. Yep. And Mr. PF Flyer saw the same thing. Yep, the 360 top end on the 318. That's what Donnie's got in false advertisement. They're 360 casting number heads and matching intake. So it's a police 318. I don't remember what year. I don't know why I put police in quotes because it's literally from a police car. But anyway. The Hozman says, hi, Jamie. My 88 D100 has been in the shop since December 11th. They're telling me it's ECM and they're having trouble getting one. Are they that hard to find? Love the show. Thank you. So like I just said a minute ago, actually, 88 D100 should be TBI. And yeah, it might be. Maybe. Yeah. I had one for a van a couple of years ago that I was able to sell for pretty good money to another local shop because they couldn't find one. That may be a junkyard only part at this point or a ship and rebuild. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, if it's TBI, it may well be hard to find. Yep. Dave says if you use the 915 head with big valves on a 383 with stock-borne pistons, they bounce off of everything. Nice. Good to know. Dan says, by the papers, those Ram Chargers may have been Canadian. Missed the TBI. Heck if I know. Yeah, as far as I know, TBI 318 starts in 88. 360 is 89. I recently learned, maybe it was in this live stream, that there was a carbureted 3.9. Didn't know that. That was like 1 year. Oh, Hosman says 39 TBI. Yeah, that's in 88. So maybe it's 87, 39 then. It's actually carbureted. Yeah, same answer though. You know, again, if it's a TBI engine, it uses that same computer. I knew a gal when I was selling car parts still that had a Dakota with it must have been a 3.9 TBI, and her computer kept dying. And I remember they were getting harder and harder to find. Warranted it out for her several times. Don't know what her actual problem was, but the computers kept dying, and we took care of it. But yeah, those are the ones that I believe have a cooling vent that goes up to the intake. Howdy, Dr. Art. Hello, Jamie. That is all. Got no Mopar questions. That's fine. Thanks for dropping in, Dr. Art. Good to see you. Cave Dave says, my 65 Satellite was originally a 361, now is a 440 with the original 361 heads, ported with Mopar Performance port template and big valves. It does okay. Nice. Yeah, cool. Makes a lot of sense. I'm not familiar with the Mopar Performance port template. That's cool. Again, obviously, as with any other head, there's room for improvements. You know, I'm well aware of that. I just know, especially in factory form, they are quite restrictive. They're torque heads or whatever. Nice. Nice. Rooster says it's cold in Minnesota. This week is going to suck. Man, it's cold everywhere, but yeah, I know. It's terrible. Flaco wants to know, have you ever heard of a factory supercharged slant? No, never have. Not familiar with that at all. Never heard of it. If it exists, it's news to me. Sounds exciting. Kind of. As you probably know, I'm planning a turbo one. Haven't made any progress on that. Kind of need to. Kind of want to just get a whole other car, and there are several options available. Anyway, more on that later. But no, I'm not hip to that. I'm aware of the factory diesel slant six, and I kind of want to build one someday. Turbo diesel slant six sounds amazing. Probably also disappointing, but that's another story. But no, that's news to me if that exists. Excuse me. Old Plymouth Garage wants to see a three-way live with Dead Dodge, Uncle Tony, and just Mopar Joe. My apologies for the mental picture. No, that'd be awesome. That would be a lot of fun. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but maybe someday. Oh, Dave Duck's here and says, cold? What do you mean? He's in Arizona. Whatever. You told me you had to put your flannel on the other day. The Hozman wants to know, can I carburate that 3.9 TBI? The short answer is yes, but the longer answer is you got to find a 1987 only 3.9 intake and then some flavor of carburetor to make it work. And then the 87 distributor, which might be lean burn, not sure. I know they're a feedback carb, so it might be a lean burn distributor. You might have to get scientific on that. I don't know. Oh, Dan sent me images, but my daughter stole my phone, and unfortunately, I can't get into the page messenger on my my laptop. I don't know why. It just doesn't work. So yeah. Oh, and yeah, AMC guy says as well, Carb 3.9 was 86 only. It should be 87. Should be 87. Because I think that's the first year of the 3.9. But again, it's hard to nail stuff down in those years, especially because there were rolling changes. I've talked about this before. The 360 was always 1 year behind the 318. It got TBI a year later. It got Magnum a year later. It's just weird. Anyway, that AMC guy's 88 D100 is a 3.9 TBI. If the ACMs are hard to find, I'd better find a spare. Yes, you might want to do that. Huh, interesting. Anti-Stupid says, Policeman told me their 318 Diplomats would go faster than their Ford 351 Windsor cars. Oh, Stacy's out of here. See you next weekend. And not here, but in real life, because Stacy's actually coming to visit Washington, which is going to be awesome. So I will see you later. Anyway, interesting. I don't know anything about 351 powered cop cars, but I do know about 90s 302 Windsors and that they're really super gutless. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. AMC guy corrected that and said, yeah, 87 only. Yep. For sure. Metallic AH20 is here and says, hi there, Jamie. I remember quite a while back you mentioning we won't talk about that with regards to the 4.7 liter. I had one in an 02 4x4 and it was an awesome truck. Why no or little love for them? I've talked about this before. I probably said we won't talk about that in one particular video, but I have talked about 4.7s a bit. In fact, I have a video about them. It wasn't even that engine's fault necessarily, but I had a problem with one and I talked about them a bit. Basically, the 4.7, it's not the best of designs. And the thing is, I'm a mechanic. Sorry, snot. I was an actual professional mechanic for about 7 years. And as a mechanic, I only see things that are broken. So the 4.7s that I would tend to see, total garbage. Absolute garbage. I'd always seen them blown up. Usually what would happen is the upper hose would fail or the water pump gasket would fail. It'd seep all the coolant out. People wouldn't notice. They'd get low enough to overheat. Once they overheat, the aluminum heads warp, the head gaskets start leaking. Then you've got coolant sitting in all your cylinders. So you start getting rust pits. It's been my experience that engines tend to stop kind of in the same positions again and again. Don't know how to explain that, but it's something I've seen. And so you end up with water always sitting in this one location and pitting the chamber out, something I've seen a lot actually. And then they burn oil too. So even if you fix the head gasket problem, they're oil burners now. So that's great. If you run them out of oil, which again, probably not the engine's fault, unless it's using oil because of that problem I just mentioned. If you run them out of oil, turns out they can spit all the cam followers out on the passenger side head, which is a super cool trick. And then you have a 4-cylinder 4.7. I've seen timing chain problems, but the head gasket problem is the biggest one, the head warpage problem. You can shave the aluminum heads, but they're never going to be the same, you know. Um, that's my understanding. Is if you need to shave them, you might as well just replace them. And yeah, if you're at that point, there's a good chance you've got damaged cylinder walls anyway. So yeah, I have seen some 4.7s over 200,000 miles with no problems, and they make good power. They run nice, but when they have problems, you throw them away and get a new one. And I see posts all the time from people hoping they can put a 5.2 or 5.9 where their 4.7 was, only to be disappointed when they learn that absolutely everything is different. The 545 RFE has a special control module that's not going to talk to the other one, even if you can bolt them together. And I'm not 100% sure on that. I think the bell pattern is the same, but there are flex plate problems. So if it's even possible to use that transmission, the control system is not going to be happy. There are a lot of reasons why you can't do that. So yeah. Also, 4.7s are always blown up in junkyard trucks. It's damn near impossible to find a good one. You're going to spend thousands of dollars to get a used 4.7 that is barely any better than what you just blew up. So yeah, that's been my experience with them. Again, I'm a mechanic. I only see the worst of things, you know. And I've seen some bad 4.7s. I've replaced a good few myself. And I've sent a couple down the road because they weren't worth fixing. So yeah, they're not all bad. I understand, you know, there are good ones out there. I have a friend with a 240,000 mile one still going strong, but I've also seen 140,000 mile ones in pieces. So that's where I'm at on the 4.7. As far as I'm concerned, the 4.7 is, it's not the same as the 5.2 and 5.9. Those things run forever. You know, they have their problems. They absolutely do. But they don't make as much power, but maybe that's a good thing. So, yeah. Mark Norman says, it's hot as hell here down under. Really feel for you guys. And I don't know if that's serious or or sarcastic, but yeah, I believe it. You've got all the heat that's supposed to be here. Oh, Dave says having to put on his flannel was just a temporary thing. Nice. 7S29777 says plenty of Aussie 265 Hemi straight sixes run turbo in the Aussie Charger. Some are 8-second quarter mile cars. Man, that Australian Hemi 6 is a fantastic engine. That is something special. For sure. Way far and above our dinky slant sixes. And I do hope to play with a 265 Hemi 6 someday. Glenn wants to know what sort of celebration we should expect when I hit 25,000. I have no idea. Don't know. I'm taking suggestions. We were talking about a possible engine build, but I already built that engine. I don't know. I have no idea. But we're going to have to figure that out soon because I'm definitely hitting 25,000 this coming week. Scott Day is here and says, hope I'm not late. You know, you're late, but I think it's fine. Dan Tupper says there was a gasoline factory turbo slant 6 project. Can't remember if Steve Maggs has it or some other Mopar guy. Interesting. I don't know anything about that. Very interesting. Kelly Smith says the 351 Windsor was a real dog. You know, I've never really messed with them much. I know they always blow exhaust manifold bolts and gaskets. I know even the 50 HO from the 90s, not super impressive. I had a 95 Mustang GT, which I really liked, actually. But I started looking at the list of horsepower upgrades for those HO engines, and they make like 190 horsepower stock, the HO. And then you can let's see, headers are good for 5 numbers. And then the Cobra intake is good for 4 numbers. You can change the friggin' heads because the heads are the real problem. And you can gain 15 more horsepower. And it's just like, what's even the point? Now, I did have a 50 Ford Motorsports aluminum headed 50 in my Cobra replica, and I was very impressed with that engine, but also that car weighed 2,200 pounds. So any engine is going to make that amazing. But yeah, anyway. I actually, despite everything I just said, I think the 302 Windsor is a great engine. The little short deck, it's so tiny for what it does. For its size, what it does is impressive. Um, but I think the Mopar small block's a better family. Scott Day says, hope I'm not late to the party. I sent you an email of my fun today. Well, the party is still raging. Although if you can't tell, my voice is kind of screwed up. I've had a cough for the last 2-3 weeks. I feel fine, but the cough and the throat thing are just sticking around. So, yeah, unfortunately, the party may not be full length tonight. So I apologize if I do have to check out. I'm guessing Tony just hopped offline by all the people that just hopped in. 156 of you out there. Thanks for joining me. If you would, please hit like on the stream because it does stuff for the thing with the deal. And if you've got any Mopar questions or life questions or feedback on my recent videos, feel free to drop them. I thought this weekend's videos were pretty awesome personally, and the viewers seem to agree. So I'm excited about that. Guy Kugler wants to know, hi, hope you and your family are well. We are. And my wife's a little sick right now. I'm afraid she's probably getting what I've had. So she's kind of miserable. Intermittently miserable. Same thing. Sometimes fine, sometimes not so fine. Guy wants to know, aside from trim strips, is there any difference between the 70 Challenger 340 A66 package and the 71 Challenger 340 RT? As far as I know, as I understand, the A66 was supposed to be everything an RT was, but it didn't say RT on it. Now, obviously, there are the important year differences, the grille, the taillights, etc. But I assume that's what you're talking about when you say trim. Beyond that, I don't think there is any difference. That's important. I don't think there's any horsepower difference. I don't think there's anything else to my knowledge other than the other differences 70 to 71. Steve Anderson says, I built a distributor for a Carb 3.9. I was assuming this was possible, so thanks for chiming in on that. My brother wanted in his 77 short bed D100, 318 distributor body, slant 6 reluctor, and a slant 6 cap re-notched to time the number 1 plug wire. Nice. Awesome. I wonder, could you just change the vacuum pod instead to a slant 6 one, or are the plates too different? Usually in the electronic plates, they have the dual holes, so you could use either style. I wonder if a slant 6 advanced module would fix that, but I don't know. Haven't done it. But since the advanced module is what clocks the cap, and the bodies are basically the same, I just wonder if that would work. But yeah, cool. Very cool. And obviously, yes, the 3.9, as you guys probably know, is a 318 missing 2 cylinders. So you could drop a 318 distributor right in it, but it's got too many holes. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very cool. Good to know that's possible. No Beret made it. Welcome, No Beret. How's it going? Gary Brender wants to know, can I put 69 Dodge Charger 10-inch front drums on a 67 Plymouth Satellite with 10-inch drums? I need to replace the drums on the Satellite and can get a pair of off a 69 Charger. As far as I know, those 10-inch B-body drum brakes are 10-inch B-body drum brakes. I don't think there's any difference. It should be just fine. I don't know for sure. There are ways of finding that out, online parts listings. But so you might do that. I don't know, ask Rock Auto, but I don't know if they even have a listing for the drums. As far as I know, you should be just fine there. Granddad's Junk is here and says, G'day, I have 102 Grand Cherokee, goes very well. 196 kilometers or 115,000 miles on the clock. Nice. Yeah, that's 4.7. Yeah, again, I know of some that are fine and doing fine, but I know of some that aren't. Dan Tupper looked at putting the Jeep 300 horsepower 4.7 into a 63 Valiant convertible. Then we looked at how often stuff went wrong on the 4.7 and said, forget it. Yeah, I wish they were a good candidate for a swap. I wish they weren't such piles of garbage, because they really do run nice. I mean that. My brother had a Dakota with a 4.7 and it was awesome, but it's just not worth it. Add to that the fact that they don't just drop in there, and it's like, why would you ever do that? You know, they don't just bolt in like the Magnum. I mean, not worth it. Yes, yes, the wire plugs, everything is different. Not only the control system, I mentioned that. When I say control system, I mean the computer, the PCM, but also the wiring harness. It is all completely different. 4.7 are DIS, direct ignition. They have coil packs, so they have wires for those. No distributor. Crank sensor down on the side of the block. Everything is different. Everything is different. Jonathan Jesh is here and says, just got here. Sorry we were late. It warmed up in North Dakota. It's only minus 18 now. Nice. And Rooster agrees the 4.7 was Mopar's biggest failure. Certainly up there. Robert Fitch was late as well. Thanks for dropping in, Robert. Appreciate that. My sister votes pizza party for the 25,000 special. Yeah, it could work. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Just real quick, Dan Rose. No, I don't have any Dakotas. I did have that 4.7 Dakota, which again, I liked, except the engine was such a piece of garbage. I actually swapped a different 4.7 in when the first one blew up, and that one leaked oil, used oil. Actually, a friend fixed the leaks, drove it all the way to Florida, and it's been doing great. So, hey, there's that. Oh, the Jesh brothers weren't at Tony's Live. They're just late. That's all good. There's a lot of viewer interchange between me and Tony. And if you ask me, that's a great thing. There's even a chance Tony himself is lurking here. He does that sometimes. In which case, hey, Tony, how's it going? AMC guy will buy me a Coke for my 25,000 celebration. Nice. Sounds great. Glenn wants to know where the pizza party is at. Probably at my house. Now, Dust Devil Garage says they were factory 440 turbos for motorhomes. I don't believe those were factory. Those were upfitter aftermarket kits. I've seen them. Evan, that I work with, actually bought one of those. He bought the turbo mount manifold and the turbo. It's a Ray J, and it's solid. But it's really cool. Very cool indeed. There were kits. There were turbo kits that were often found on 440 motorhomes. Well, I say often. I've literally never seen one, but I know that they were out there. But I don't believe any were actually factory installed. Far as I know, they weren't. My sister says it feels like 1,000 just happened a few months ago. 2 months short of 2 years, actually. It did go really fast, though. Yeah, 10,000 and then 11,000 was in June. So that's 7 months now, right? Or is that 6 months? That's bad math. 7 months, yeah. More than doubled. Well over doubled. Chewy votes for pizza party with arguments. Well, if Robert Hall drops in, we'll have arguments. Good times. Dan Rose says, any idea on how to change an electronic carb to a normal carb on an 87 Dakota? I don't. I have no idea. I'm sure there's someone out there messing with them, but that's not in my wheelhouse at all. It's nothing I've had to mess with. I imagine you could just put a BBD on there, which technically will be oversized. If you can find the Slant 6 BBD, that's probably just about right. But people put the 318 BBD, standard BBD, on the Slant 6 all the time. So maybe it's fine. Don't know. I'd probably just change the whole carb. It's probably possible, but I don't know. My sister says the pizza party will be on the roof of my shed with the ducks. Okay. Nice. Scarlet the Four-Eyed Cuda says all temperatures should be in Kelvin. Minus 18 Fahrenheit is 245.37 Kelvin. Sounds much warmer. Yes, it does. Nice. Lamplighter 55 says, my mother had a 318-69 Fury. My friend's father had a 351-70 Custom 500. We raced. I ate his lunch. Interesting. Impressive. Oh, yes, we've talked about this a bit. Chris Greenhill's Garage says, my daughter has an 06 Dodge 4.7. I absolutely hate it. I've never seen something leak so much, burn out so many sensors, and have so many issues. Never again. That reminds me, a common thing I see on 4.7s all the time, or I used to, I don't have to work on those damn things anymore, was leaking from the cam sensor. It's an awesome oil leak, and it's right on the exhaust manifold on the passenger side. Yay! Good times. Oh, yeah. Anti-Stupid says the 300 inline had more torque and horsepower than the 302 some years, according to the book. It would surprise me if the 300 made more horsepower. They don't really like to turn. But yeah, they're torquey. The 300's great. I love the 300. Oh, my sister says Tony might still be going. I don't know. Take your word for it. Yes, yeah. They were Ray J turbos. Dan confirms that. Mid-70s. Draw-through turbo setup. Yeah. Oh, Tony's still going. Well, whatever. I don't know. Maybe a few people just got bored and switched over. I don't know. Yeah, 319, and this is important. The 39 TBI distributor does not have vacuum advance. It's handled by the ECM. And that's why I was asking about the 87, because I don't know this, but if that thing is it's a feedback carburetor, I know that. So it may be a lean burn system, and lean burn distributors don't have vacuum advance either. So yeah, I don't think any, as far as I know, no 39 ever would have had vacuum advance. Yeah, I'm a bit behind. I apologize. I'm trying to keep up. Dan Rose, what's a BBD? That is the standard Carter 2-barrel carburetor found on 318. 318s for many years. They're great. They are great. Robert Fitch says, oh, if you didn't know, I'm the new owner of that 65 Valiant from a few weeks back. Should I buy an Amazon BBD or try to rebuild the one you already spent an hour and a half on? Carbs were never my strong point. That thing seemed to be getting better. It does idle now. I fired that car up on Wednesday, and it sat there and idled, so it might be okay. I'd keep running it, see if it gets better. The Chinese BBD copy is friggin' garbage. Don't buy it. It's not worth it. They're junk. Don't do that. Try and find an old one and rebuild it. And you want the older style. You don't want the one with the big control tower on it. Those ones are a pain in the ass. Late 60s, early 70s BBD is great. I would aim for that. Woo! Live. Yeah, I used to have a 300 inline 6 carbureted, 1-barrel carburetor in a 1-ton Ford van. It had no overdrive, no windows. It was awesome. It was OD green. I would load, and it had a big whip antenna that hit power lines, which was really fun. I loaded that thing to the roof with music gear, and I put 12 of my friends, including my sister, in the very back. They were allegedly partying all the way to Bremerton and back. Allegedly. So that thing was loaded, people and music gear. It was awesome. It did fine. It was a little slow up hills, but not too bad. And it got almost 16 miles a gallon. Just great engine. I love the 300. The later ones with EFI and a 5-speed can get 20 plus. They could tow. They do awesome stuff. I really like the Ford 300 inline. As I understand, they don't really like the revs. They like to disintegrate at high RPM, so you want to avoid that. But yeah, it's a great engine. Really is. No question of that. Oh, yeah. As far as only ever seeing broken stuff, Metallic AH20 says, I know what you mean. I've got my 310T truck license, and people don't visit you at the shop for kicks. Mine overheated twice, but that was me being young and dumb. My biggest issue was with the tip. Gotcha. Yeah. Yes, the 300 inline 6 is awesome. I stand by that. I think it's really great. Wish Mopar had something like it. Let's say it's cool. Excuse me. Sinuses are clearing. That's great. David Aldridge says, loved the Charger road trip. Do another one. I would love to, my friend. As I mentioned earlier in this live stream, the way I pick what video I'm going to do is what's in front of me, what opportunities I have, what I can do. I don't go looking for these things. Now, we had the opportunity to buy a Charger in Chicago. I volunteered to drive it home. It kind of sort of worked out okay, except for all the failure. If I knew then what I know now, I would have fixed the stupid distributor and it probably wouldn't have pushed the head gasket out. But anyway, and it would have made it home. But that's another story. It still would have blown the water pump. I rewatched that video recently for my own edification, and I realized that water pump was probably starting to go the first night. The belt was squealing and it wasn't loose, and I reefed it tight trying to get it to stop squealing, and that is probably what did in the water pump water pump bearing. Probably. It was decades old and abandoned, but I shouldn't say abandoned, but it didn't do very many miles, is what I mean. And I certainly put it to the test. But yeah, if I played my cards a little differently, that thing probably would have driven home. So, anywho, good times. I saw the live stream member count flash up to 172 a minute ago. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I appreciate that. If you haven't hit like on the stream, please do. I'm trying to catch up on comments. I am making an effort to try and stay current with those these days. So I'll get to your questions and comments pretty soon. If you have any, feel free to drop them. Fox Can Fix It says, I'll get a 92, 93 4x4 Dakota extended cab with a 5.2 eventually. I owned one of those. It was a great truck. My friend Connor is daily driving it to this day. It gets terrible fuel economy, and we're not really sure why. But it refuses to die. It's kind of a piece of garbage, but it refuses to die. Good truck. I'm just like slightly too tall to fit in those smaller trucks. I prefer a full-size Ram. Oh, nice. Fred Siegfried joined us from Pennsylvania. 03 third gen. That's what I got. Cummins truck. And a 75 Cordoba. I've got a 79 300. Removing the lean burn top end today. Nice. Awesome. Oh, Fox Can Fix It says Uncle Lurker's garage. So I guess Tony probably did let out finally. So now if Tony's hiding around somewhere, how's it going? And everybody else that dropped in, thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Good times. Oh, Rocks 1989 says, how about a tire roast burnout for a party? Yeah, that's an option. That is an option. David Aldridge had a 440 satellite. Not many down here in Oz. Yeah, I bet there aren't. Very cool. Kelly Smith, someone else actually referenced this video as well. I guess Obsolete Automotive's YouTube's kind of blowing up. I actually checked him out the other day. Let's see how he's doing. He's been on Instagram forever. I've been following him for a long time. Yeah, wow, about 30,000 views on that video of his. He's up to almost 3,000 subs. But yeah, he hasn't really been huge on YouTube to this point. But I've been following his exploits for a long time. He gets all kinds of cool stuff. He's in, damn it, where is he? Midwest? I can't remember. Is he in like North Dakota? I'm not totally sure. But anyway, yeah, that's Obsolete Automotive. He gets some cool stuff. Beautiful low miles gold swinger. He's had all sorts of Exner machines. He's done many drives. He likes to go get cars in California and drive them all the way home, fix them on the road. Super cool. He does cool stuff, and he's got great taste in cars. So yeah, that's Obsolete Automotive. 72 Coronet, Slant 6.3 on the tree. Really neat car. Yeah, for sure. Oh, Rooster's heading out to the shop to feed the wood stove. May or may not make it back alive. Good luck, Rooster. That was 10 minutes ago. Yes, I'm a bit behind. Oh, well. Mark Norman says a Burgundy 68 Charger won the Grand Champion competition of the, or Campion is what he wrote, of the Aussie Summer Nats last week. Car show festival where police call the punters a subspecies of the human race. Champion, yeah. Nice. Grand Champion competition. That's cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's like all nice down there and stuff right now, isn't it? 2.7 V6 was a bad engine. I don't know. There are tons of those still on the road. It's not my favorite by any stretch. Electronic Carb, again, as I was saying earlier, I'm pretty sure a Carter BBD. Someone mentioned later in the comments, BBD stands for ball and ball dual. Yeah, AMC guy. Yes, that was originally a ball and ball design, and Carter purchased them. So yeah, the BBT, and then the BBS found on Slant 6s, the single barrel. Those are great carburetors. I love them. I am fairly sure that the standard BBS is the same footprint as the feedback carburetor used on the 3.9. As far as I know, that should work. Oh, Fox Can Fix It is at about 3 years and 3,000 subs. Nice. There are so many channels that never make it to where you are. So that sounds all right. I never thought I would get as far as I have. I don't know how. Perseverance, I guess. I don't know how I've gotten to this point. Perseverance, you know, I mean, you've seen my videos, so you know what I do. I mean, it's something a little different and a little polarizing. I still am getting comments that I didn't for a long time, but I'm getting comments again saying that I'm annoying and I need to shut up. My voice is annoying. The way I talk is stupid. That kind of thing. It is what it is. But I have managed to attract almost 25,000 people. A big part of how I did that was technical guides. That was the groundwork on which this whole thing is built. So that's something that I know a lot of other people don't quite do. And I'm not saying it would work for you. I'm not saying anything I've done would work for you. But hey, again, 3,000, that's pretty damn good. First off, you're making money. And second off, you've got like 3,000 people out there that love what you do. So sounds pretty good to me. Guy Kugler says, gargle with Jack Daniels. You'll feel better. I don't have any in the house, but I'll see what I can come up with. I do have some very potent cider in the fridge still. A little bit left. Yeah, Dan Rose, the electric carburetor is tied to distributor computer. Yes. So if you're going to delete that TBI or delete that feedback carb is what I call that, but it's got electronic controls in it. You delete the whole thing. Brianne C just pulled a 360 out of a motorhome, getting a 340 intake and 202 J heads, and it's going in my 69 Dart. Awesome. Sounds pretty good. Probably swap out the pistons while you're at it and bring the compression up. That would be a good idea. Those J heads, like all other 360, 340 heads, are open chamber, and that will be compression challenged, I imagine. Unless it's a really early motorhome engine. And even then, you probably want to do that. Dave Duck says Washington is too far to travel for pizza. Brewster is a statistical anomaly. I shouldn't be alive, but I refuse to die. Nice. IDM DID GAD JD. That's an awesome picture. I really like that. I'm about to put a 360 in my Slant 684 Dodge. Any tips? Not many. It's pretty straightforward. Change the transmission. You may have to change drive shaft if you've got a 906, and I know that did happen in later years. Earlier Slant 6 trucks usually had the 727. The ones I've seen did anyway. You need the correct engine mounts. You probably want a bigger radiator, although frankly that might be extra. There's not much to it. You need the right parts. You need the right manifolds, the right accessories and brackets, or accessory brackets. The accessories themselves are the same. There's not a ton to it. It's a swap I've done a good few times. Have fun. Don't get snowed on. Joel Shooter's got pizza in the oven. 15 minutes left, and that was 13 minutes ago. So, Joel, your pizza will be done in 3 minutes. Don't forget, burned pizza is not satisfying. McLovin Garage has a 4-barrel intake and manifold on his 70 Coronet 318. Best swap I ever made. Yes, works awesome. Highly recommend a Performer and an Edelbrock carburetor, especially the ABS2. Highly recommend that. Super great for a 318. Works awesome. You want to do the Performer and not a big port manifold. You really want those small ports. You'll end up with a port mismatch with the big ones, and you lose velocity and yada, yada, yada. You want the Performer. It's really the way to go. Really the way to go. Oh, End of Time says, someone tried to sell me that 383 Valiant for $25,000 around Christmas out here in BC. Was it a scam? Yes. As far as I know, it's not for sale. Oh, Thin Air 2 asked if I've ever watched Nick's Garage. I have. I never got into it. I can't quite explain it, but it just wasn't quite my thing. He works on some cool stuff. There's no question of that. But yeah, not quite my thing. Nathan's Mopar Garage says the BBD carb is good. Holly 2-barrel is junk. I've seen some that were okay. Someone recently told me the BBD is junk and that the bigger Holly 2-barrel is great. First off, they don't fit where a BBD does. They're a different bolt pattern and port size. Yeah, I don't know. They're probably fine, I guess. But I prefer the BBD. I've had great luck with the BBD. If anyone in like Minnesota has a pair of Coronet buckets for Rooster, you should sell them to him. And if anyone has a Coronet front bumper, a couple people offered, but most of them were in Canada. I am still looking for one. So let me know if anyone has a Coronet bumper, 66 or 7, anywhere near to me. I need one. That's for an upcoming video. Need one. That AMC guy wants me to road trip to Canada to get that Daytona. Dude, I'd love to. I was going to make a comment about that Daytona a bit ago. I need to get that enhanced licensee thingy so I can actually go to Canada and then get back into America. Don't have that. Never have. Yeah. I would love to. We need to determine a price on that and make sure I can actually afford it. Mr. PF Flyer says, tip on the curse of Mopar. Yeah, well, not until the 2000s when they put a stupid module in the fuse box. That's what the TIPM is, if you guys aren't hip to that. It's called, TIPM stands for Totally Integrated Power Module. It's a goddamn fuse box with a goddamn computer in it, and it is garbage. And it causes all kinds of weird problems. It can cause no starts. It can cause dead wipers on like caravans. Is the one that sticks in my mind. It's super common with TIPM failure. It can do all kinds of stuff. It can wipe out your lights. It's just dumb. It's dumb. What were they thinking? I've replaced a bunch of those. Metallic H2O wants to know if I managed to get the cam lifters out of the Dodge Hemi. No, I haven't, but I also haven't tried. I was really running out of time when I was filming that. I haven't touched it since the very end of that video when I shoved everything back against the wall. Haven't touched it. Still looking for parts. Gordy Owen says, what about the 225/6? It's good, but I wouldn't call it comparable to the 300. It doesn't make torque like the 300 does. And the 300 survived into the modern era. It got fuel injection. It got even better. I really like those. Obviously, I'm actually a Mopar guy. I think the Slant 6 is great, you know, but the 300 is something a little different. Great truck engine. 225 was in trucks, but I wouldn't call it a great truck engine. Jonathan Jesh watched the Yellow Super Bee video today. A lesson in disappointment. What is that car up to nowadays? No idea. Don't know. Don't know if they ever got it running. I have no idea. I really wish I could have gotten that thing running. It was so cool. Such a neat car. But yeah, I don't know. Went back home, and that's the last I ever heard of it. That video, God, at the time, I feel like it got a lot of views, but thinking back now, I think the number of views that it got that I thought were great was like in the hundreds. That was quite a while ago. That was a year and a half ago, I guess. Anyway, David Aldridge says, I want to see a 440 Magnum. I haven't really done a Magnum build. I do have a 6-pack build coming up. And I'm probably going to do a video on that showing the particularities of the 6-pack engine. I did build a 440 Magnum recently for a 69 Charger Daytona wing car. I didn't do a video on that because it's the same build as the non-Magnum engine. It's just a cam difference and, you know, not much else, frankly. So that's why I didn't do a build video on that one. I kind of just wanted to like focus. But yeah, I may do a video someday on 440 Magnums. I mean, I've shown them, but, you know, again, I have a build video on a basic 440, and it's damn near identical. Dead Dodge Brother wants to know, oh, look at that picture. That's a great one. 67 Barracuda, piece of garbage I used to own. Dead Dodge Brother wants to know, are the people ready for an 1.5 hour long Fury engine swap video? I sure hope they are. And if it's only an 1.5 hour, we're lucky. The good news is it sounds like the people are indeed ready. So that's the good news. Ross says the 306 will do anything a V8 can do, but much slower. Same or worse gas mileage. What's the point? Same or worse hasn't been my experience with the 300. I've gotten decent mileage out of those, as I was mentioning. Yeah, slower for sure. Yeah, they're a torquey bastard. And they are reliable. I like them. I just like them. I like inline 6. Oh, yeah, they keep doing that perpetually. Excuse me. When the V8's parked with a broken timing chain, says Kelly Smith. I like an inline 6. A big inline 6 engine is awesome. They are inherently naturally balanced. You know, they're great. So, yeah. YT Viewer loves that I have a lot of followers in the Midwest. Yes, and in Australia and New Zealand, which is awesome. I really like that. Ducky's got a 77 W200 318. Coolant seems to be disappearing on me. There is no obvious leak. Not a lot of smoke while running. Any ideas? Well, I have a few, but no great ones. Dan said, look at your belt to see if it's flowing any coolant, but if it was, you'd have a trail up on the hood and everywhere else. I don't know. I mean, a slight leak and it's evaporating, but you should smell it. I'd be concerned about head gaskets. Rooster says water pump, but you should at least see something there coming down on your lower pulley. You'll see a trail down from the weep hole, and you should be seeing some on the ground. Yeah, I've seen radiator leaks, but again, it will probably make it to the ground, and you'll probably smell it evaporating. So, yeah. I would do a pressure test and see if you see any drips. Pressure tester can be rented from O'Reilly or bought at like any other part store, probably. Yeah, I would do that. Good next step. Ed Benty says, just went through a Chinese BBD imitation. Never worked right. Yeah, it's been my experience. I thought they were awesome. I was really excited that you could just buy a new one, but they don't work right. And I don't know why. And I've never tried to fix it. I don't know. I don't think I'm smart enough. But anyway, Ed rebuilt a Stromberg WW with a worn out throttle shaft, and it worked much better than the BBD. Yeah, that, I haven't done a Stromberg, but well, maybe I have actually. But I have rebuilt a crappy old BBD instead of the Chinese one and have had much better luck. So there you go. Oh, New House of Speed says, hey, Jamie, 70 Charger. How did the Hotchkiss sway bar compare to others? I've been waiting 12 weeks for the Hotchkiss sway bar kit, and I'm starting to regret my purchase. I didn't know they were that far out. Colin didn't have to wait 12 weeks for his. That sucks. The Hellwig's great. It just costs more. But if that's available, get the Hellwig. It's easier to install anyway. It's a great part. Yeah, the Hotchkiss is really good, but you have to weld everything. The Hellwig is a bolt-in solution, so I kind of like those. Well, the late 50s Mopar 4-barrel, which I know is a WCFB, apparently is Will Carter 4-barrel. Didn't know it was Will Carter. Very interesting. But yeah, that's the teeny tiny little 4-barrel. Kind of cool. Haters gonna hate. Frig 'em. We all appreciate what you do. Helpful, relatable, and entertaining. Thank you, Glenn. We're never gonna win everybody. I know that. There's no question of that. You cannot please everyone. Can't be done. Never will. So yeah. It is what it is. I'm not losing sleep over it or anything, but I read all the comments, which I probably shouldn't do. And I know that, but a big part of what I do is answering people's questions, and that's where they're at. So yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, exactly. Thank you, Greg. Yeah. Don't listen to those negative comments. Like you pointed out, you've got a smidge under 25,000 subscribers. What do they have? Exactly. My number one troll that we were talking about for a while there, he had like 89, or maybe it was a couple hundred. Not very many, so yeah, just ridiculous. I know what it is. I know how it do. It's all good. If some of you people have seen my responses to commenters in the past, and I've gotten a little more cutthroat with that recently because I can. So I've definitely told some people recently to not let the door hit their ass on the way out, among other things. It's fine. Fred Flintstone wants to know if there's a Jimmy Carter FB. If there is, it's going to live forever. Yeah, Decky said there was no coolant swinging on the belts. Yep. Ed Benty wants to know, do you have a 65 273 closed chamber head? I'm desperate. One of mine is cracked. I do, but I just put them on an engine. My brother has a pair. 64 and 5 are that earlier style with the small bolt heads angled. I found some at Tom's, and I think they were the early one with the small bolt head. I'm pretty sure he's got a pair of them back there. He'd probably want to sell them as a pair. Your call. And he's not in a hurry to sell that kind of thing, but he'd probably be willing to sell it to you. Tom at rocketresto.com. He might still be listening. Don't know. He'll definitely listen to this later, so he'll probably know to expect your email. I have a pair of 273 heads, but they're the later ones. I actually showed them in my recent 273 video. They are the later, still closed chamber, but they have the bigger, the more standard later LA bolt pattern. So won't work for what you've got unless you want to take both and change your intake. And those heads need a lot. That engine is stuck valve city. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. Kelly Smith, I'll just say I wouldn't guarantee anything. Wait, do they have gears? That would explain it. 300 timing gears. Yeah, the gear drive. Well, are they? Yeah, they're gear drive, so they'll never break a chain. They don't have fiber gears like the friggin' Iron Duke, do they? Good times. Oh, yeah, totally. I've been there. Love it. Bo Ridge says Fort George Brewery in Astoria has some damn good pizza. Pretty good beers, too. Just saying. For sure. I need to get back down to Astoria again. I love it down there, but man, last time we tried to get a friggin' hotel room down there, it was insanely expensive. We stayed at the riverfront for my birthday 2 years back. It was awesome. We stayed in a room called the Boatyard. They have themed rooms over there. And man, it was great. I love Astoria. Awesome place. When I was about 19, 20, and I really, really wanted to get out of this place, I realized pretty quickly I was thinking wrong, and I came back. But Astoria was on my short list. Love it down there. Always have. Oh, Fox Can Fix It says, going from Slant 6 to 360, you need at least 2 more plug wires and spark plugs. Other than that, some brake clean and a lot of shop rags. Nice. McLovin on that 318, exactly what I did. Performer and ABS 2. I got 17 miles a gallon on my drive to Vegas, and it ran flawless. Nice. Yeah. Awesome. Dan Rose says, look up Rust Belt Garage Turbo Dakota on 318 Magnum engines. Yeah, you could just buy manifolds that fit in those. Kind of awesome. Excuse me. Someday I plan to adapt a set of those to a 318. I'll probably do an LA. Lower compression. Also, I don't know why. I just like LAs. Dan Rose also wants to know why it's so hard to get Mopar parts over GM and Ford. They made way fewer of them. It's just how it is. I mean, there are friggin' 100 Chevys to one Mopar practically, and that's not exactly true, but they're just so much more common. And also, Chevy was the go-to for a hot rod. You know, you take a Chevy engine and put it in anything. So there are tons and tons of those engines being swapped into things that there's a market for parts for. So, yeah, it's been that way for decades and decades. Similar with Ford, there are tons more Fords than Mopars, but yeah, that's just how it is. And that's why every Mopar guy is a hoarder. Rooster, I am well aware of this. You should probably know that I'm well aware of this. My 66 Charger, I installed a 67 bumper, used the turn signals in the bumper, which are unused in either year Charger. Charger is the 66 Coronet bumper, 66 and 7, because the blinkers are in the grill both years. Anyway, I use those lights as running lights. I set them up with super bright bulbs and powered them off my headlight relay, which is kind of cool. So then they turned off with the fog lights and with the brights, and they were legal as fog lights. Anyway, yeah, I know. If I get a 67 bumper, I will do the same thing. I don't care. The extra lights don't bother me. Having a smashed to shit bumper bothers me. Flaco recommends I finish the jar of cider in the fridge as a cough cure. I'll send you a jar of our Devil's Brew in the AM in case the original doesn't do it. Sounds good. Awesome. Looking forward to it. I'll be happy to drink it live again. I still have enough left to kill myself, so I'm not going to finish it off. Nice. Kevin Coleman has a Dodge 39 TBI computer from an 89 D100. Came from running truck if that guy's interested. I'm in Tacoma, Washington. If that guy's interested, I don't really know how to put him in touch with you. He's here in the comments still, I imagine. You guys can always exchange emails or something here. It's up to you. But yeah, I don't think he was in Washington. Huh. Interesting. Someone hit end of time up a few times trying to sell that 383 Valiant from his ad looking for a clean 68. I don't think Gary is trying to sell it. He's certainly not advertising it. He loves that car. And, I'm sure he'll sell it eventually, but I don't think so. His name's Gary Hergert. So if Gary Hergert messaged you about it, that's probably legit. But as to my knowledge, no. Dan Rose wants to know, are polyheaded V8s any good for performance parts? They weren't ever really built as performance engines, and there aren't a ton of performance parts out there for them. There is a company now, and I forget their name, but they make 4-barrel manifolds. They make headers. You can get cams. There are parts out there. But it's a lot harder to get a hold of performance stuff for the poly. So, yeah. Bit of a bummer, but the Poly is a great engine. Bo Ridge is always down for more videos on the Fury. I think that's the general consensus. It's a cool car. Nice. Rooster's going to drop a video on his Ram Charger plow truck. I saw mention. Oh, Ducky says that's another plow truck. Or, no, he didn't say that. Sorry. Or I thought I read that somewhere. Yeah, plow truck. Sits a good amount. Got it. Yep. Rooster's doing a video on what's left of that Ram Charger. Nice. Bobby's Bees 68 Dodge is sleeping for the winter. A lot of my stuff sleeping for the winter right now. Oh, David Aldridge left a bit ago. Wow, I am way behind. I apologize. I don't know what's up for the outro. It's probably going to have to come soon because my voice is leaving. Oh, Kelly Smith also said the original cam gear was phenolic. You can swap into cast iron one, but they will strip out. Makes it sound real horror show like a tractor. Nice. Good stuff. Yeah. Guy Kugler, didn't the 71 446 have Hemi rods? No. I don't think they're not called Hemi rods. They're called 6-pack rods. But what the hell do Hemi rods look like? I don't know if they're anything special or not. And I probably won't be able to find a picture of a factory one. But the 6-pack engine, 6 used early Hemi. Well, how does that help? 426 Hemi rod. Yeah, maybe that is similar to a 6-pack. Yeah. I don't know if they're the same. It's above my pay grade, but that does look like the 6-pack rods. They're much, much beefier. If they're Hemi parts, okay. I just don't know that. I've never built a Hemi. I hope to build a Hemi someday. But yeah, they're huge. Big, ginormous rods. See you, Glenn. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Oh, McLovin Garage wants to know when I'm starting on the 74 Dodge Dart Sport. Very soon. I got the Studebaker gone. The next thing to get gone is the 73 Charger. That is happening. If you saw my community post today announcing the live, that was a picture of the 440 for that car. It's like done. I got just a couple little things to do. Finish the transmission. It's ready to go in, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So probably next couple of weeks, we'll have a 440 in a 73 Charger. As soon as that is done, I can shift my focus to the Dart Sport. I was going to go ahead and tear into it anyway, but I've decided it makes more sense to kind of flip things around, get the Charger done. And it's so close. So trying to focus on that. Bell James's 56 T500 loved T351 Windsors. Yeah, I bet it did. Nice. Had a buddy with a 72 Torino that did not like me sometimes. Oh, yeah. 6 = 8 was the motto of Clifford Performance. Yes, Clifford is the inline. They're the inline 6 people. They've got all the cool inline 6 stuff. They've got inline 6 stuff. I'm sure they have the goods for the 300. And they have the land speed record for the fabulous Hudson Hornet. Keeping and building the 6s has its benefits. I totally agree. I even like flatheads. I really like inline 6 engines. Rafael Colmenares. I probably needed to roll that R, but I apologize. I can't do it. Oh, yeah, definitely need to roll that R. Rafael says, hey, Jamie, just to say thanks for your videos. They've been very informative. Greetings from Venezuela. Have a 70s Dart GT with a 318. Nice. Awesome. Thanks for joining. I appreciate that. And you are very welcome. I'm happy to help. My mom's very into the Fury Progress because she has to ride across the country in it pretty soon. You're in luck because he's almost done editing that video. I was almost going to say heater core on that coolant leak, but it would be leaking inside the cab, and I think you probably would have noticed that in the steaming by now. Steve Anderson loves the Stromberg WW. Yeah, I've had a couple running on things, but I don't have anywhere near as much experience with them as the BBD. I kind of view them as almost the same carburetor. The Stromberg's fine. I wouldn't throw one of those away. There's a little bit of brother banter in the coming Fury video, but yeah, I'm mostly in the background not being useful. And at one point I was in the background working on the Studebaker. So he's in the background of that video, the last Studebaker video, and a couple people noticed. Exactly. If people don't like what you do, they can go elsewhere. And that's why I tell them to not let the door hit their ass on the way out. Where are you getting your hydraulic roller cams for 360? Everyone seems to be out of stock. I don't know. I haven't had to buy any recently. Colin has gotten a couple from Hughes, but not any time recently. I don't know. I mean, everything's going out of stock everywhere, so I can't help you there. No Bray says this was a very good week for your and Tom's videos. I agree. If anyone here is not watching Tom's stuff, you should be doing that. Rocket Restoration's YouTube channel. He's hovering right around 1,700 subscribers right now. So check him out. He does interesting stuff over there. Mopar paperwork history is one of the coolest things he's doing recently. He's showing dealership paperwork and things like that. Talking about like finer detail Mopar stuff that I don't. And yeah, showing some neat stuff, kind of similar to what I do. His approach is a little different than mine. He's better at speaking, so he doesn't have to edit his videos as much. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Rocket Restorations, you should do that. Stephen Andrews says, the only problem with your videos is they're too short, says I. Some of them are long, but I appreciate that. Good vote of confidence. Yes, the AVS2 is a great carburetor. It is absolutely worth the money. I highly recommend it. The AVS is fine. The AFB is good too. But the AVS2 is just the best. I've had the best experiences with those. Fred Flintstone says, he's got an AVS and it's great, but the choke doesn't always want to work. Any chance you've got it wired on the wrong side of a ballast resistor? And usually they open that way anyway. Yeah, maybe replace the choke unit. Anyway, I really like those carburetors. Haven't had many problems with them. Ed Benty says, from Oceanside, Jamie, your videos are so much more entertaining than that guy over at Vice Grip Garage. Thanks for the tip on the heads. Happy to help. I like that guy over at Vice Grip Garage. I think he's a stand-up dude and a great American. But, you know, I appreciate the vote of confidence anyway. It's not a popularity contest. If it was, I'd lose by a factor of like a lot. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. You'll need the Billy Cutter FB if you're going to run alcohol. I need to figure out what the outro is because I'm running out of voice. Dan's brother was mostly an air-cooled VW guy back in the day. He and his first wife went on an adventure. She wrote a book. I'm in it too. Oh, that's awesome. I've done some air-cooled stuff. I kind of like them. Oh, seriously. If you think Mopar parts are hard to find, try living in the AMC camp. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah. Oh, apparently bumpers are on eBay for $400. I wonder what the shipping's like. 400 is a lot. I'd prefer to pay $2 and no shipping, but it is what it is. I need one coming up here soon. I've got everything else. I just scored a grill for the Coronet, so yeah, I really need to fix that. I need to do the floor, fix the front end, obviously fix the leak that ruined the floor, fix the heater controls. Stereo might be nice, fix the back hatch, get the window working again, and reupholster the seats, install the carpet, and that car's good to go. I'm going to have to detail the engine compartment again because it's just embarrassing how it is. But yeah, I need a bumper. Just need a bumper. Daryl from Detroit says, more second-gen Charger videos. Don't worry, Daryl, they're coming. Lots of Charger stuff going on. Oh, Kelly Smith said, "What's up" for the outro. Oh, the capitalized up. All right. It's the best I can do. But I used to help run karaoke with a lady named Linda, and she did that one. Good times. AMC guy, it only shows the likes that were posted when you joined. There are probably a whole lot more than that. Apparently, it's going to hit 23 tonight. Yeah, Kelly Smith says it's 160. Really, really glad. Oh, that was a bit ago. That I turned the heater on under the hood of the Demon because that thing was turning into a slushy this morning. Or was that last night? I don't remember. Yeah, it was yesterday. Oh, End of Time says it was Gary Hergert, so I just asked for more picks. This will be fun. Hey, if it is legit, it's a really good car. You saw the video. That thing's so solid. It's so unique. It's so cool. So many people have offered to buy it in the comments. Yeah, awesome car. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Rooster says Hemi rods are shorter, 100,000 shorter, and they are designed for 8,000 pounds of down pressure. I didn't think they were the same. It's a similar design. It's just super chunky rod. But again, never built a Hemi. I don't know. So I defer to Rooster on that one. Tim Jefferson hit the like 3 times, so I know I did my part. Nice. Blackhawk wants to know, have you ever had an inland shifter? I'm restoring a car with one. Heard they're not that great. Thinking about going with a Hurst. I would do the Hurst. I've never had an Indy. I've heard they're not very good. Indy, inland, whatever. I've seen people refer to them as Indy, but that's not really short for inland at all, is it? Mm-hmm. I got the joke, Tim. It's okay. A mechanical choke, not electric. Ah, yes. I'm not a fan of mechanical chokes. The cables are just always suck. Yeah. Fixing on it Garage says the way parts are going, we aren't going to flinch at using old used lifters we threw in a box 25 years ago. Nope. I'm using them. And yeah, and you can have them resurfaced. You know, I am not throwing lifters away anymore. Yep. Yeah, and that's true of everything. But yeah, there are a lot of different Mopar channels. There are a lot of different car channels. There's a lot of, all sorts of things. There are gazillions. Edward Poe says that's enough for non-blondes, and I agree. There's enough out there. There are enough viewers for everybody. There are enough channels for everyone that doesn't like mine. That's fine. I'm happy and very pleased and surprised to have reached the point I am at. I am not the biggest Mopar channel by far. I'm not the smallest Mopar channel by far. I'm really happy with it. So yeah. Wagon love. Yeah, it's happening. Everyone in the comments on the State of the Fleet video seemed to think that I wouldn't do wagon stuff if they didn't say so. I'm going to do wagon stuff. I have to. It's my wife's car. Nice. Fred Flintstone's mechanical choke is reaching out and grabbing the Fred Flintstone's mechanical choke. Did I say that right? Means reaching out and grabbing the Brontosaurus by the throat. Nice. It was cheaper. I know. Yeah, the mechanical chokes are cheaper, but I wouldn't bother. I just wouldn't bother. Oh, wow. Dan Tupper had a 58 VW bus and was looking at a mid-engine Mopar V8 swap. This is going to sound weird, but years ago, I really, really wanted to get a Cavalier wagon and mid-engine that. I wanted to do a big block Chevy, but that's not the point. G. Babaluba wants to know, what size torsion bar would you recommend in a 64B with a big block 3-3 automatic? Has the 318 auto in it now. Seems very undersprung. I'm going to swap it out in the spring. If you don't have a sway bar, do that first because it makes the biggest difference. But an inch torsion bar is a common choice. They're a little stiff. You could go a little smaller than that. The options, as I understand, in 68Bs are 0.92 and 0.96, or is it 0.98? Don't know. Don't remember. There's a 1 inch. There's 102. There are a lot of options. I wouldn't go bigger than an inch unless you're building a handling car. And that would have been a 318 poly originally, which is a pretty heavy engine already. So I don't know if there's a big difference between the two bars right there. I don't have that spec memorized. That's for damn sure. But yeah, I mean, something in the inch neighborhood is probably good. Fred Flintstone's fine with getting out and doing it himself. My sister says what I'm thinking, and I've said it before. I just think we can praise a person without comparing or tearing it down another. That has been my exact response to every single person that has said I'm better than Vice Grip. I don't see it that way. That dude is famous. That dude has made big money. That dude has millions of subscribers. He has a loyal following, even if he's changed or if he's commercialized. I skip his commercials. That's stupid. Whatever. But I get it. And he's a huge deal. And he probably gets paid a lot of money to do that. So who am I to judge? I want to make a lot of money. That would be awesome. So yeah, I'm not here to crap on anyone, really. I've had some mildly critical things to say about other people over the years, but that's fine. Yeah. I don't need Derek to lose for me to win. I really don't. So, yeah. Metallica H2O says you could get a K-car wagon and mid-engine it. I like where your head's at there. Robert Fitch, doing my part to help you hit 25K. Just subscribed. Save me a slice of pizza. Awesome. Will do. Appreciate that, Robert. Thank you very much. And thanks for joining us. Well, I think we're at the end. And as you heard from my Four Non-Blondes, Creepy Cat. Four Non-Blondes cover a minute ago. I still really don't have a voice. So I don't really know what to do. I've got an acoustic guitar and a slide. Brewster said to play the lick on that I played on his porch, and I just did. It's actually one of my songs, but I can't sing it. And it's also not supposed to be in that key. It's supposed to be in the other one. Thanks, Paul Steinberg. Appreciate that one. Take it easy, and we'll see you later. Oh, wait. Hold on. Blind dodge, Jamie. Ciao, Rich Jordan. Thanks for lurking. Jade said... I don't know that one. Keep Warren Kelly Smith, thanks for being here. Appreciate everybody hanging out. We definitely we set an attendance record tonight, I believe. So thanks everybody for doing your part, hanging around on this crazy journey we're all on. Packing up my seashells and I'm headed down the road. I'm tired of the people and I'm tired of the cold. If that's the way you're going, babe, I never want to know. I'm packing up my 6 shells and I'm heading down the road. See you, man. Thanks for being here. Sounds like Gear Jammer. I ain't never listened to Gear Jammer. Edward Poe says, you actually answer people. That's pretty cool. Thanks, Edward. I'm doing my best. If I'm going to benefit from all this financially, you know, and even if I wasn't, I just feel obligated to help people where I can. For you guitar nerds, that's open G, but the low E is tuned way down to a very low G, which is why it sounds out of tune all the time. I think I mixed up 2 of my own songs. What's the shot glass part? No, that's it. Huh, I don't know. I was really super active with slide guitar like 12 years ago. I had a whole band of just me and a drummer and doing all that, and that's when I wrote all these songs. And I can't remember them. Anyway, I guess that's it. Throat's killing me, and it's about that time. So I just want to thank you. I just want to say thank you very much to everybody for hanging out. And I'll see you next week. We'll have Rooster on. We'll talk about drag pickups or something. And on the 28th, we'll have just Mopar Joe. So make sure you catch those guys. One-man bands rule. Yeah, I never did that, but 2-man band. Yeah. Also, I don't know Joe's garage. I might have to learn that. All right, everybody. Take it easy. Stay warm. I know it's way colder everywhere else in here, so do what we can. Keep the lights on. And I'll see you in the comments and next week. Thanks again. Good night. I hope I feel better too. Bye now.